Welcome to my self-important Magic the Gathering show. I breathed wrong. This is the third week of the Colors Pickup Week. We'll be finishing off the mono colors. So we're starting on mono red. Anybody who's seen the previews might notice that there's a not the preview, well, not that I made previews, but like anytime I showed the list over here in this tab, that we're missing one deck. I took away the Oops All Genres deck. I didn't like it. I didn't feel like messing with it. It might come back in the future, but for now my only all the same Planeswalker deck is the Gideon from the mono white pickup week. So now we have Attack for Me, starring Alexios, Deimos of Kosmos. 3 and a red for a 4/4 human berserker with trample. Alexios, Deimos of Kosmos, attacks each combat if able and cannot be sacrificed and can't attack its owner. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player gains control of Alexios, untaps it, and puts a +1/+1 counter on it. It gains haste until end of turn. So it doesn't gain haste for us, but for everybody else it does. Well, I mean, when it comes back to us, well, I guess it won't need haste when it comes back to us. Yeah, because at the beginning of each player's upkeep, they gain control of it. But alternatively, you could have Slicer Hired Muscle as your commander. I know I have a deck for him in my folder for Transformers characters. Did I do a Transformers week already? No, I did not. There's a lot of those. So as of this recording, I did not do that. But Slicer Hired Muscle, I'll probably look at that after I record this and see how different. And there's probably actually no cards in it, but it'll probably end up almost exactly like this one. So if I do have something for that, then I'll either redo it, or I'll delete that one and explain why, because this episode exists. Anyway, Slicer Hired Muscle, you can cast them for 4 and a red for a 3/4 double strike haster that has, at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may have that player gain control of Slicer until end of turn. If you do, untap Slicer, goad it, and it can't be sacrificed this turn. If you don't, you convert it. Which you can also just, for 2 and a red, cast it for this side in general. It has Living Metal, which means even though it's a vehicle, on your turn it is a creature. So it has First Strike and Haste, and it's a 3/2 for 3. And when it deals combat damage to a player, convert it at end of combat. Well, that's interesting, because if you convert it, it means it can't block. So he's just like in incognito car mode. And by the way, this is a sweet looking car. It does remind me of the evil female car from GoBots a bit, even though it's not exactly the same. Then we have Kedis, Emberclaw Familiar. Whenever a commander you control deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other component. So that's only for when Alexios is under our control. When an opponent controls it doesn't get that. Sawhorn Nemesis. As Sawhorn Nemesis enters the battlefield, choose a player. If a source would deal damage to the chosen player or opponent they control, deals double that damage instead. So, if there's an obvious problem, we just place this down and go, well, that player's the problem. Twin Flame Tyrant. If a source we control would deal damage to an opponent or opponent they control, deals double that damage instead. So, only Alexios and Slicer only deals the double damage when it's our turn, but that's fine. Fiendish Duo. If a source would deal damage to an opponent, it deals double that damage instead. So this is all sources. It doesn't say we control. Also has first strike. That is largely unimportant. If a source we control would deal damage to a permanent or player, deals double that damage instead. This is where I would need a judge to tell me, because I've tried looking it up, but I haven't really found an answer. We control the equipment, but the opponent controls the creature. Whenever an equipped creature becomes blocked by a creature, you may draw 2 cards. I believe since this doesn't give the ability to the creature, we get the card. These questions will be important later. Endless Atlas, because we're running monocolor and have 30 basics. Brotherhood Regalia, because we can make Alexios or Slicer unblockable. Komainu Battle Armor gives them Menace, which is cool. Means that you have to block with at least 2 creatures. And then when this or the equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, go to each creature that player controls. Whisper Silk Cloak for unblockable again. Frontier Warmonger. Whenever one or more creatures attack one of your opponents or a planeswalker they control, they gain Menace. So that's another way to get Menace on Slicer and Alexios. And anything that's not attacking us. Arcane Lighthouse to remove Hexproof and Shroud from stuff. Just in case that ever becomes necessary. Arena of Glory to give haste at the cost of not being able to untap this once. Each player draws a card because we're in red and we don't have a whole lot of options for that. Our 30 Mountains from the Assassin's Creed set. Mirrored Landscape to pull out 2 mountains. Nykthos. Mana equal to Devotion. Drain Generator, just in case we draw multiple lands. Valakut to deal damage once we have 5 lands in play. 7 is for plains, 5 is for mountains. And this is another cycle that needs the other the other 3. Yeah. Because we were talking about a cycle in another episode of lands that needed 2 because the blue and the green didn't have one? No, the red and the green didn't have one. The lands that said pay 2 in the color and put a certain permanent type back on top of from your graveyard back on top of your library. Black had creatures, white had enchantments, and blue had artifacts. Anyway, Basilisk Collar to give our commander or slicer, either of our commander options, Death Touch. It does give lifelink, which helps our opponent, so that's kind of stinky. But if we have it on our commander, commander damage is still commander damage because it's our commander, even if it's under someone else's control. This is Trample on lifelink, and also permanents your opponent's control lose hexproof and indestructible. This is we have to do that because we still control the equipment. Lightning Greaves for haste and shroud. Hexproof, and we don't have to worry about Death Touch. Hexproof and haste. Hexproof if it's legendary, and then of course makes it bigger. Darksteel Plate for indestructible. Mithril Coat for indestructible. The Hammer of Nazahan to give indestructible. And also free equips on any equipment we play after it. Silent Arbiter is funny. No more than one creature can attack each combat. No more than one creature may block each combat. That's really good for this deck because they have to attack with Alexios or Slicer because it's goated. But this does turn off goat if they attack with something else instead. Because that now you've made it to where it's unable to attack. I think that's how that works. Brash Taunter, it's just a fun blocker. Whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. I just like this guy in any deck I feel I can put him in. Lizard Blades to give something double strike. +3/+2 and trample to equip creature. That's more for Slicer than Alexios, because Alexios already has trample, but hey, +3/+2. The reconfigure cost is expensive, but that's fine. Death Kiss, it is a type of beholder. With that name, you'd think... Oh, for those of you who watch my video game stuff, this kind of reminds me of the Ichimoku runs from... at least that's how I remember the name. From Raido Kuzunoha. Anyway, whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks one of your opponents, double its power until end of turn. That is neat as heck. Then we have Excalibur to make our commanders bigger by a lot, and give them vigilance for what it's worth, even though that don't matter. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Cold Steel Heart, Felwar Stone, Fire Diamond, Mind Stone, Ruby Medallion, Sword of the Animist, the Iron Crag, Thought Vessel. I'm going to check something really quick. Oh, and see, this is a static thing, so I think we still get the basic land. Because the equipped creature gets the +1/+1, but the static ability, I believe, is still under our control. Iron Crag, Thought Vessel, Bitter Thorn, and it's the same deal here. Foundry Inspector, Knuckles Glove. This one we can't put on Slicer or Alexios because it gives this treasure token thing to the creature, so we'd be giving our opponents treasure. So that might come out of the deck. But we can also put it on our other stuff, like we have other creatures. Then we have Professional Facebreaker, so that we can get treasures and spin treasures for Impulsive Draw. Knuckles the Echidna, another way to get treasures. And he also has Double Strike, Trample, and Haste. Koth, Fire of Resistance. The +2 is the main thing, because he makes sure we never miss land drops. I think I've said this in another episode somewhere. He costs 4, but considering if you're in mono red, you don't really have a whole lot of options. Here you go. But then also -3 to deal damage to a creature equal to the number of mountains you control. And then if you ever get the -7, you get whenever a mountain enters the battlefield under your control, this emblem deals 4 damage to any target. So, you know, you have a nice selection of things. Then we have our Solemn Simulacrum, Fire Crystal to make red spells cheaper as well. Then also creatures we control have haste, and also a very expensive copy of creature that you have that goes away. Then we have Shattering Spree, Vandal Blast, Bloodthirsty Blade that we put on an opponent, that we equip to an opponent's creature. The equipped creature gets +2/+0 and is goaded. Goaded means they attack each combat if able, for the record, but cannot attack us if there are any other options. If there are no other options, they do get to attack us. So we put this thing on a threat to make sure it don't come at us until we're the only thing left. Mizium Mortars, Wild Magic Surge, Chaos Warp, Delayed Blast Fireball, Guff Rewrites History. I don't know if I ever mentioned these ones, but the reason why I don't put a lot of red removal in my decks is because it's either for artifacts, lands, or they replace with a random card from their deck. Potentially. Same thing with, so that's Chaos Warp, Wild Magic Surge, Guff Rewrites History, and Transforming Flourish all kind of have that thing. Argentum Armor, we've been putting this into a lot of decks recently. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, destroy target permanent. And again, that's a static ability, so we get it. Meteor Golem destroys the thing on entry. Ultimate Weapon, whenever a equipped creature attacks, destroy target creature and opponent controls. So again, we get that because that is the ability of the equipment, not ability of the creature. Cityscape Leveler destroys stuff on cast and attack. Gives them Power Stone tokens. Power Stones tap for 1 colorless, but they cannot cast non-artifact spells. They can cast artifact spells and activate abilities. Extinguisher Battleship. Destroy target non-creature permanent, and then deal 4 damage to each creature. That would get rid of our creatures if they're not indestructible, but that's fine. This is definitely like super panic button. And what's funny is that, well, oh wait, no, stationing is a sorcery. Never mind. Then good old summon Bahamut. I was about to say you could turn it into a creature while its ability was on a stack, but that ain't true. Then we have Blood Moon and Magus of the Moon because we're playing in mono red, and people should be careful. Oh, that actually puts it. So Blood Moon actually puts us in bracket 4. I bet, because it's called Mass Land Denial. I feel like mono red should be allowed that, if I'm being honest, but you know what? Maybe to be nice, we will take it out. Did I put that in any other mono red deck that I did for the show and haven't put up yet? No mono red there. No mono red there. I'll have to check. There is a deck I'll have to check between episodes, but let's. Now, where did they go? Oh, there they are. Let's delete them. Let's see how many creatures we have. We have 20 creatures, and, well, we have 21 creatures, but 2 of them don't stay under our control, and several of them are pieces of equipment. Let's see what this thing says. It probably is going to say Magus the Moon. Brass Choir, that's really slow. Iron Mirror, we're not that hard up for ramp. This makes our equipment cheaper. They know what's up. I do like Kazul, Tyrant of the Cliffs. Whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks, if we're the defending player, we get a 3/3 Ogre unless they pay 3. That's for each creature, so that taxes each creature. And 3/3 may not sound like much, but at least it'll give us stuff to throw in the way. Or make them not want to attack us. You know, if we're going to hate non-basic lands, and this includes us, and we have a maximum of 7, let's do the Sunspine Links. Players can't gain life. Damage can't be prevented. When Sunspine Links enters, it deals damage to each player equal to the number of non-basic lands that player controls. We could take as little as 0 damage depending on how our deck has been. So there we go. Fixed that. Actually, wait. Ding. Unlike other decks in this series, I haven't been going for the least expensive. I've been going for the one I liked the most. Or the oldest printing. Sometimes I just do that. And I do prefer this border to this border. Or maybe it's just the scan or something. Because it just looks darker here. And this, you know, it just doesn't look as good. So there we go with that. Hair on my nose again. So now we have Burning Down the House, which I don't know why I named it that. And we just have Daretti Scrap Savant, who is a Planeswalker that's allowed to be our commander because it says so right there. Hold on. My nose was being weird. So we have the only different lands are we have the come on, Treasure Vault, which can add colorless, or we can pay double X and sacrifice it to create a bunch of treasures. And it's an artifact land, that's important. Hold on again. Ugh, had to rearrange my throat. Great Furnace, which is just an artifact land. Darksteel Citadel, indestructible artifact land, taps for colorless. So Daretti Scrap Savant is 3 and a red for a 3 loyalty planeswalker. +2, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. -2, sacrifice an artifact. Aha, something to do with treasures. If you do, return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Or -10, that'll probably almost never happen. You get an emblem with, whenever an artifact is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, return that card to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. That's wild. Don't count on it, but man, if you live that dream. So, I'm going to type in a few things first. You can pry it from a Cold Dead Hands. Solemn Simulacrum is a great chump blocker or something to sacrifice to Daretti to get something else. Wait, no, I'll do it from here. Oh, red spell. I'm just checking for other stuff, even though I know generally what I want. It's funny, it's because monocolored ends with red. And multicolored, and well, that's as multicolored, but monocolored because it's color ed. So we want the Ruby Medallion and the Fire Crystal, but I was just kind of checking. I guess Throne of Eldraine is really good. I just never thought about it before. Like, if we're willing to put in the Fire Crystal, for 1 more mana, we have Throne of Eldraine, which does add 4 mana. So, oh, it just says it's only for monocolored spells. I never really looked into it before. Anyway, MV equals 2 T art minus T3. Add with the space after. So we got our Arcane Signet, our Cold Steel Heart, our Felwar Stone, our Fire Diamond. This art for the Fire Diamond, for all the Diamond series, has really grown on me. The I guess Commander at Baldur's Gate, CLB, Commander Legends Baldur's Gate. There we go. Aha. Has really grown on me. And then we're going to put in the treasure map, Thought Vessel, Ironcrag, because I do plan on having other stuff that give us treasure anyway. This is going to be mono red treasures, super. There we go. You only need 12, but considering how expensive 2 of them are, I feel like they count as 1. Oh. So our so we go actually we can probably just reopen up that other and go to my removal section. Select all. Card names only to clipboard. Import. Save changes. Get rid of this down here. Close you. Move you to removal as well. Move you to removal as well. Remove you to removal as well. So that's the Shattering Spree, the Vandal Blast, the Bloodthirsty Blade. Oh, no, we can remove Bloodthirsty Blade. We don't need that. But, you know, everything we saw in the previous one, minus the Bloodthirsty Blade. Besides Bahamut, several of these are artifacts. Cityscape Lovelore does have to be cast the first time, but it's still an 8/8 worth getting back if it ever goes into our discard pile. Because that's another thing. We have discard up to 2 cards, draw 2 cards. So if we have big old things, and then I am going to put the 2 Colossi in here, because if we discard them, they just go back into our deck. See, if it would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, shuffle it back into your library. That's kind of funny. And then that goes into finisher as well. So sure, we can't reanimate them, but they're effectively free discards. And then we, I believe we discard, draw, then shuffle them back, so I don't think we can accidentally draw them again. I could be wrong, though. That's how I'd prefer it to be. Finish one effect and then do the other. Now I'm just going to type O. Treasure is. I'm just going to put the T just to be sure. Permanent. I don't know if we're making enough treasures for Academy Manufactor to be necessary, but we'll put them in for now. Ancient Copper Dragon. Atushi. Sure, it's when he dies and he could be exiled and not die, but it can create 3 treasures or give you the top 2 cards of your library that you have until the end of your next turn to play. That's +1/+1 counters. Breaches. We're not going to have a whole lot of pirates, but when he attacks, we can create a treasure token. And then we can say, or target creature can't block this turn. Or, if we haven't spent any of our mana, exile the top card of your library you may play it this turn. That's enters. I'm not a. I really should like Bone Horde Dracosaur a lot more. But I just don't like the limited amount of time you have to play for 2 cards, and it doesn't let you like play an extra land. Captain Lannery Storm. We like that. When she attacks, you get a treasure, and then she gets stronger when you sacrifice treasures for if that's important. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest number of artifacts an opponent controls. Flying Trample Haste. Whenever Cavern Horde Dragon deals combat damage to a player, you create a treasure token for each artifact that player controls. Sure, why not? This Scoundrel can give a Wicked Roll a treasure token or discard to draw. I'm fine with that. We do want more artifacts still, but you know. Oh, if we've descended, which is if a permanent goes into our graveyard from anywhere, that includes discarding. It doesn't count tokens because tokens aren't cards. That is super important. At the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died this turn. I don't know about this. I do like Gadrak, the Crown Scourge, but I'm being very careful about the number of non-artifacts I'm putting in this deck at this point. Cast Historic Spell. Goldspan Dragon is good. This makes me feel like I missed something that I should have put in here. Hold on. Yeah, we'll put in the Diamond Pickaxe and the Gold Vein Pick because they're also artifacts that we can just get rid of. Guild Artisan, whenever this creature... No, our commander isn't a creature. Good old Knuckles the Echidna again. Magda at least makes them herself, and she also gives... we're not going to be committing a whole lot of crimes, theoretically, but they both give us something to do with treasures besides our Daretti. Excuse me. Man, I like Nuka-Cola Vending Machine, but I'm not going to put it in here. Professional Facebreaker, of course. We don't have that many instants and sorceries, but if we think we're going to have a lot of artifacts, Stormkiln Artist isn't the worst, but... Oh, the Sword of Wealth and Power. Again, we don't have a whole lot of instants and sorceries. We can give things double strike with the Swashbuckle Extraordinaire. We might come back for that one. Reaver Cleaver again. I am a fan of There and Back. But maybe not. We'll come back for it. Trove of Temptation. Zorn. What was it? Descent into Avernus? That's the one people like because it deals a ton of damage to people. There's another thing. No, but it steals everybody's stuff. Never mind. So what does that put us at? That put us at 83. You go into ramp, which I believe is this giant section. 28 pieces of ramp. Do we have enough different things that make treasure tokens? Well, you know what? He himself is at least an artifact that we can sacrifice if we need to. Now we're going to check our types. 19 creatures. We did pretty good there. So we're going to do T, Art, T, Creature, MV, greater than or equal to 10. My fingers were in the wrong spot. We have the Ancient Stone Idol is interesting because if we get it into play, we can sacrifice it to get other things into play, to get other things back, and get these 6/12 constructs with trample. There, I've just typed out artifact on principle, and honestly, most of the rest of these are absolute garbage. Metalwork Colossus doesn't have trample or anything, but it's still fun. Then we have this flying 9/9. I mean, let's live the dream, my dudes, because we can always, again, we can always discard it if we have Daretti out. That's the fun part. Huh. Son of Draco gives all of our creatures, all of our red creatures first strike. That's mildly interesting. So now we change this to 9. Equals 9. We got a Bygone Colossus, Robot Giant. It's a 9/9. It has Warp. That's always fun. Oh, the Triniform, yes. And the Triplicate Titan, yes. Bygone Colossus is really cool in... I think it's really cool in the draft for Edge of Eternities, as long as you've got, like, spaceships. Because you can warp it in for 3, drop 9 counters on something, and then it goes away probably forever because you're in draft, and you're probably not going to get to 9 land again, but 9 land anytime soon. But you did just turbocharge a spaceship, so I think that's neat. Now we go to 8. Oh, we have Blaster Hulk. What is this thing? Oh, that's a lot of work, but that is neat. Blaster Hulk is neat because you can, if we are doing energy and you can pay 8 energy, this does 8 damage divided any way you want, up to 8 targets. Well, yeah, because you don't. Oh, Bosch Iron Golem is funny. Pay 3 in a red, sacrifice an artifact. Bosch Iron Golem deals damage equal to the sacrificed artifact's mana value to any target. That's just funny. I don't like dealing with stuff like this because it says your life total can't change. I'm like, oh boy. Well, we'll put that in. Oh, this thing that when it goes away, it gives us 8 colorless mana. That might be good. What are we at? We're at 92. Categories. Type. We're at 28 creatures. I probably want more small things. I was about to say I probably want more ramp because we definitely. The thing is that we don't have any way to protect Daretti because he's a planeswalker, so we probably want. And by that I mean we can't, like, he won't wear shoes. You can't make him wear a jacket. You know, those kinds of problems. And we're at 29 pieces of ramp. Does he count as... Oh, yeah, they count him as ramp because as long as he doesn't die the same turn you cast him. So lucky that... Everybody else is so lucky that this is an enchantment creature, not an artifact creature. Oh, I didn't see this sacrifice thing on it that you have to pay 10. So never mind. I mean, Bosch could throw him, but that's pointless, I feel. Let's see. I guess we do want some... Oh, I just realized something. A card that exists. Weapons manufacturing. Whenever a non-token artifact you control enters, you get a colorless artifact token named Munitions. When this token leaves the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to any target. So when we're trading our artifacts in play for artifacts in the discard pile, let's see, this goes into BURN. Oh, that already exists, right? Let's put it in the burn category, because that's... I mean, we could put it in the tokens category, because it makes tokens, but what do those tokens do? They burn. Actually, maybe we should just to save on the number of... Oh, that made things weird. I'm going to check on something up here. Oh, creature spell. Not creature. Artifact. Oh, hey, look. Artifact Blast. It's a red counterspell specifically for artifacts. Oh, Foundry Inspector. May as well, since we do have a lot of artifacts and we might want to actually cast them. Karn Legacy Reforged. Shimmermere and Liberator. Oh, Slowbad. Sacrifice an artifact, add an amount of red equal to the sacrificed artifact's mana value. But you can only cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts with it. But that's mildly interesting. We're not going to Mystic Forge this time. But now we want O artifact O Graveyard Goblin. Because there's 2 goblins that do this. Oh, actually we do want this one. Sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on each goblin you control. And then whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay red. If you do, you get an artifact, you get a goblin. So the goblin comes into play before you put the +1/+1 counters on stuff. What other... It's not Goblin Artisans. But that is too many, too small words. Okay, this only grabs ones 3 or less. Choose an artifact a player controls and an yep, this is the one I want. This can trade 2 artifacts, one from play into the graveyard. So the other one only does 3 or less. Oh, but this also can put artifact into our graveyard, so that's important. So it can get back. It costs a red and can only get small things back, but it can put one in our. It can tutor one into our discard pile, which is important. Oh, and that put us exactly at 100. And we do have 35 creatures, so I'm good on that. And 18 non-creature artifacts and a bunch of artifact creatures. Could this deck be better? I haven't said that sentence in a while. Yes, but I don't care. So the next thing we do is this. We optimize our printings. We didn't do it with the last one because I didn't care. This time I only care about this, but I probably will change that anyway. So let's overwrite. Let's unselect. Let's track down our lands. Interesting that the promo card is the cheapest version of that. I really like the Final Fantasy ones, just saying. Like, it's like when I saw this, I'm like, oh, I know where that is. This is Mount Ordeals, because that's where Cecil goes from a Dark Knight into a Paladin. There's that one. I don't like how there's a face right there in the mountain. That unsettles me. It's less unsettling than this Predator from the movies looking guy over here. I do kind of like this one for like a Goblin Warrens looking thing, but this isn't really a Goblins deck. I like the maps from Middle Earth. Even though this is supposed to be ominous, I do like this from All of V1. So I think we'll go with those ones. So that was this interesting deck. I don't know why it's called Burning Down the House. I don't There must have been something else here. Had to have been referencing something. I don't get it, but we're not changing it. So now we're going to Themberchaud. Can you guess who the commander is before we see him? And this is another deck that I built fully ahead. Red got the least amount of stuff from Edge of Eternities, I think, out of stuff that I actually put in decks that already exist. I don't think I touched it with Final Fantasy, but we'll see. There is some stuff I see I could put in here, but we'll have to see. This deck I fairly recall is weird, especially once you see that I have 14 cards in the burn section. So, Themberchaud starring Themberchaud. For 4 generic and 3 red, we get a 5/5 Trampling Dragon, who is just a chunky boy, ain't he? There's a story behind that. You should go look it up and read it for yourself, so you don't have to listen to me say it. But when I'm gonna start calling him Themberchaud from now on, because that's just did it for me. When Themberchaud enters, he deals X damage to each other creature without flying, and each player, where X is the number of mountains you control. You may exert Themberchaud as he attacks. If you do, he gains flying until end of turn. He's so fat that he cannot fly without exerting himself. Big mood, brother, big mood. Conjurer's Closet to blink Themberchaud. Repercussion, because I don't care. Whenever a creature is dealt damage, Repercussion deals that much damage to that creature's controller. When I had a mono red burn deck way back in the day, this was definitely a star in that, because that was some funny stuff. Especially when you go Sulfur Mayhem Dominus, whenever... Let's see, is Repercussion doing the... Yep, Repercussion is dealing the damage. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or a permanent opponent controls, it deals double that damage instead. He, unfortunately, is a 5/4, and we might have more than 4 mountains in play when we cast Themberchaud, considering his mana cost. But thankfully, we can make Sulfur Mayhem Dominus indestructible by discarding 2 cards and paying 1 red, or 1 red 2 life, or run 4 life. Toralf, God of Fury. We're not going to look at the backside because that side doesn't matter for our purposes. Whenever it has trample, that also doesn't matter. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage, Toralf deals damage equal to the excess to any target other than that permanent. The theory behind this deck might be coming into focus now. I don't remember if I had this idea or if I got this idea from somewhere. If someone thinks I got this idea from somewhere, put it in the comments. Give them credit. Brash Taunter. When this thing takes damage, it deals damage to a target opponent, and then it can also fight stuff, which is funny, and it's indestructible. Heartless Hitotsugu. It deals damage to each player equal to half of their life total, rounded down. That can just cause you to win the game. Then we also have Terror of the Peaks, because it's funny. Spells your opponent's control that target Terror of the Peaks cost an additional 3 life to cast. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. Twin Flame Triton. If a source you control will deal damage to an opponent or a permanent they control, it deals double that damage instead. Wrathful Red Dragon. Whenever a dragon you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. Chandra's Incinerator. It costs less to cast, where X is the amount of non-combat damage dealt to your opponents this turn, and also has trample. And whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Sounder's Incinerator deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker that player controls. Fear of Burning Alive. When Fear of Burning Alive enters, it deals 4 damage to each opponent. And then if you have 4 different card types in your discard pile, whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Fear of Burning Alive will deal that amount of damage to a creature they control. Fiendish Duo again. If a source would deal damage to an opponent, deals double that damage instead. Fiery Emancipation. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, deal triple that damage instead. Angrath's Marauders. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage instead. City on Fire. That's triple, but you can invoke it out by tapping creatures you control to pay for a generic or a red, since this is a mono red deck. Delena Wild Mage. When she attacks, you roll a d20, and on a 1 to 14, you create a tap and attacking token that's a copy of that creature. When she attacks, you choose a creature, and then attack token, except it's not legendary, so it stays in battle to do the attack, and exile at end of combat. And then if you get a 15 through 20, you get one of those creatures, but you're allowed to roll the dice again. Felheed Spirit Binder. If you're inspired, I don't know what inspired means. Well, let's look this up. MTG Inspired. Creatures with inspired abilities represent the divine inspiration that comes from the world of dreams. Every time the creature becomes untapped. Thank you. That actually, darn it. There it is. Oh, it actually said it right here. Whenever Felheed Spirit Binder becomes untapped, you may pay 1 in a red. If you do, put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of another target creature, except if it's an enchantment and into those other types, it gains haste. And exile at the beginning of the next end step. Helm of the Host creates a non-legendary copy of whatever it's equipped to at the beginning of every combat phase. Jax is the Troublemaker. You can pay a red, tap, and then discard a card to create a copy. It will still be legendary. Ortheon, Hero of Lavabrink, can create 1 or 5 copies. Sandstorm Crasher, you may exert it when you attack to create a tapped attacking token that's a copy of another creature. Splinter Twin is an aura that allows you to tap the creature that it's attached to make a copy. It has haste. Whenever Flame Rush Rider attacks, create a token that's a copy of another target attacking creature that's tapped and attacking. Exile at the end of combat. Then we have our Endless Atlas. Anep, Vizier of Hazaret. You may exert Anep as it attacks. When you do, exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. Okay. Gila Courser. Gila. I guess it's just Gila because Gila monster. Whenever it attacks while saddled, exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. Arcane Lighthouse. That removes Hexproof and Shroud. Arena of Glory to give haste. Make everyone draw and discard. Make everyone draw. There's our mountains. There's Nykthos. There's the terrain generator. There's Valakut again. Basilisk color. That doesn't really help Thunderchaud, but it can help other stuff. Shadow Spear, Lightning Greaves, Swiftfoot Boots, Darksteel Plate, Magebane Armor, prevent all non-combat damage. So, like Magebane Armor, Darksteel Plate, and Mithril Coat, those aren't for Thunderchaud. Those are for everything else. Anything else I want, and Hammer of Nazan. Anything that I don't want Thunderchaud sitting on. Pariah's Shield, all damage that will be dealt to me is dealt to an equipped creature instead. That protects me from Thunderchaud, I believe. Diamond Pickaxe to make treasures. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Cold Steel Heart, Fire Diamond, Gilded Goda. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, you get a treasure. Ruby Medallion. Fable of the Marrow Breaker. You get a creature that makes a treasure when it attacks. Discard up to 2 cards, draw that many cards. And then on the other side, we have the Reflections of Kiki Jiki, which makes a copy of another a non-legendary creature you control, except it has haste. Professional Facebreaker again, so we can spend treasure on stuff. Reaver Cleaver again. Koth Fire Resistance. Again, I love this guy. Especially, because he just makes sure we hit our mountains. Goldspan Dragon, there and back again. I knew it. This is a thing. If we're not copying Thunderchaud, we're copying this to get 14 treasure tokens. I put this deck together before the Sonic the Hedgehog Secret Lair, so I'm going to see if I can throw Knuckles in here somewhere. Ancient Copper Dragon makes treasures when it deals combat damage to a player. Elixir of Immortality. Oh, you gain 5 life. Oh, and shuffles your graveyard back into your library. I guess. Felden's Cane. I guess that's just me not liking discarding my own stuff. Or something. Even though I have a lot of exile off the top effects. Apparently there were things in here that made me want to throw down a Felden's Cane and an Elixir of Immortality. Shattering Spree. Soul Scar Mage. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to a creature an opponent controls, oh, they get -1/-1 counters instead. That's funny. Gets around indestructible on my opponent's stuff. Vandal Blast. Wild Magic Surge. Chaos Warp. Guffrey Writes History. Transforming Flourish. Star of Extinction. Destroy target land. Star of Extinction deals 20 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Jeez. Blasphemous Act. Because this is the I don't care deck, apparently. Boy, I really need Pariah's Shield. Fall of Karandros. Whenever a creature opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage, amass Orcs X, where X is the excess damage. Okay. Okay. That's funny. Oh, and then Thornbite Staff. I mean, that does go with the, that does go with the, Basilisk color. Oh my. So this is 100. Is there anything I want to take out? This, honestly, why do I have this? Why do I have these two? Am I discarding cards left and right? Let's take out these two and let's live dangerously. Oh, Diamond Pickaxe creates treasure on attacks, while the Gold Vein, I think that's what the other one was called, only does it if you do combat damage to a player. That's the big difference there. So I'm going to put in Knuckles. Because he amuses me. Where's our ramp section? There it is. I was sitting right on it. Honestly, I should probably have more creatures with flying in here. Like, honestly, I think that's why I had those two. Because I realized that Thunderchad was going to murk my own stuff hard. Like, I don't even have my regular removal section is actually kind of good. Because I put in a bunch of silly stuff. But, like, also I put in stuff that I normally wouldn't put in. This is just all really funny. What I actually want is that Daretti, so I can always make sure I have Pariah's Shield ready. Do I have an artifact creature I can put Helm of the Host on? Wow, I don't have Solemn Simulacrum in this deck. That is wild. There's not a single artifact creature. That's mildly interesting. So yeah, so that's Thunderchad now. That is... I like this deck. It is completely silly. It does feel like it's based off of my old burn deck, even though that was had 0 creatures in it. It's just the amount... It's just the repercussion that makes me think about it, because I would play cards like Flame Wave that did 4 damage to each creature an opponent controls. And with Repercussion out, you know, it could just get rid of them entirely if they had at least 5 creatures out, and if they were still at full life. So that was the red decks. Wow. Okay. So now we're on the green decks. So this is Greetings from Earth 8312. Our commander is Spider-Ham Peter Porker, one of like 2 cards from the Spider-Man set that I care about. The other one being Aunt May. I've probably uploaded the Street Fighter video, and if I haven't, well, now you know Aunt May appears in the Street Fighter video. So when Spider-Man enters, create a food token. Whoop-de-doo. It's a 2/2 Spider Boar hero for 1 and a green. And then it has Animal Mayhem. Instead of Mayhem, it's Mayhem. Other spiders, boars, bats, bears, birds, cats, dogs, frogs, jackals, lizards, mice, otters, rabbits, raccoons, rats, squirrels, turtles, and wolves you control get +1/+1. The one thing that bothers me is that snakes isn't on this list. That makes me sad. And they had room for snakes, but snakes got left out. I don't actually know enough about Spider-Ham to know if he had any big snake enemies that would get them left off this list. Because lizards are on here, so it ain't because they ain't a mammal. Spiders are on here because he's a spider. Birds are also, like, it's mostly mammals, but they have birds and lizards and turtles. Anyway, so it makes them all 1 bigger. So we have Surik and Goreclaw, which other creatures you control have trample. It itself has trample. Whenever another non-token creature enters on the battlefield under your control, it gets a +1/+1 counter on it and gains haste until end of turn. Neat. Though it doesn't really matter because it's cost 6 himself. But Surik is a human, but Goreclaw is a bear, so it's a human bear. We got the Buster Sword to cast free spells and draw a card. Toski to draw cards when if we hit our opponent. Keeper of Fables for all of our non-humans to draw us cards when it deals damage, which I think Surak and Gorklaw could be our only human, even though it is also a bear. Rope. I was recently awakened to this card when someone was like, you know, this thing plus menace is really mean, right? Because it says can't be blocked by more than one creature. So if you have this on a creature that's menaced, can't be blocked the long way. Wilson Refined Grizzly, it's just a bear that has Vigilance, Reach, and Trample, and Ward 2. I just wanted him in here. I just like his art, too, where he's holding a potion because he's a potion connoisseur. Drover Grizzly. When Drover Grizzly attacks while saddled, creatures you control gain Trample until end of turn. Miri the Cat Warrior has First Strike, Force Walk, and Vigilance. That might be important. I'll have to check my lands, because if Yavimaya Cradle of Growth isn't in this deck, I made a mistake. Spider Rex, Daring Dino. This guy really should get his own deck, where it's him, plus every variant of Colossal Dreadmaw, including Colossal Dreadmaw. Though there is that one, I think, joke commander from one of the mystery boosters that turns everything into Colossal Dreadmaw, but this is great. Reach, Trample, Ward 2. Colossal Dreadmaw as a legendary spider dinosaur hero. We have Super State because that is funny. Since it's a cartoon thing, we can just give Peter Porker flying, First Strike, Trample, Haste, and make it a 9/9. Endrace Forerunners, they're a boar, and they give all of your other stuff +2/+2, Vigilance, and Trample until end of turn when they enter. No, they sure aren't Craterhoof Behemoth, but they're the Craterhoof Behemoth this deck gets. Okay, so we're in our lands. Boseiju Who Endures. It's you can discard it to destroy an artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land an opponent controls, and they replace it with a basic land from their deck. Oh no, card with a basic land type. That's even better for them. And it costs 1 and a green, but as long as we control a legendary creature, it only costs green. Castle Garenbrig, it's ramp for creature spells. It turns 4 mana, or it turns 5 mana into 6 mana. Evendo, the Walking Haven. I don't know if we're going to have that many creatures. I just wanted to have 7 non-basic lands in the deck. That's just how it goes. Enters tap, taps for green, then you can station it, and once it has 12 points on it. Oh, and stationing is tap another creature you control, put a charge counter equal to its power on this planet. Station only is a sorcery, and then when it has its 12, you can pay a green and tap it to add green for each creature you control. Then we got our forest, our full art forest from the Spider-Man set. Myriad Landscape, even though green doesn't really need it. Nykthos, we use that a lot in our monocolor decks. Then the Snow Forest. Tarnation Vista. Oh yeah, this is a card I didn't know existed. But so it enters the battlefield tap. As it enters, choose a color. Add 1 mana of the chosen color. For each color among monocolored permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color, and you pay 1 and tap this for that. This should go into more of my monocolor decks. I'm not going to go fix them all, and I'm probably not going to remember. And honestly, it normally gets filtered out because I filter out the 1 generic because of all those stupid lands that require you to pay 1 generic or sacrifice them when they enter. But then again, that's also in my for decks with 3 or more colors. So this is only for monocolor. We're looking at this and going, yeah, monocolor decks. Yavimaya Cradle of Growth. All lands are forests in addition to their other type. We got the Shadow Spear. We don't have the Basilisk color, but we have the Shadow Spear to remove hexproof and indestructible from things. We have the Lightning Greaves. We have the Mirror Shield. We have the Swiftfoot Boots. We have Arachnogenesis. It creates X spider creature tokens with reach, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn by non-spider creatures. Champion's Helm, that gives the hexproof to legends. Darksteel Plate, Mithril Coat. Prowling Serpopard. It can't be countered, and creature spells you control can't be countered. Normally I don't have to worry about that, but it is a cat. That's why it made it into the deck. It's also a 4/3 for 3. We have the Whisper Silk Cloak. Anora, Wolvid Familiar. As long as it's your turn, commanders you control are indestructible. It just means that Spider-Ham can attack without worry. We have the Bedrock Tortoise. As long as it's your turn, creatures you control have hexproof. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. And it's an 0/6. So it's a 6/6 for the purposes of dealing damage to stuff. But there's that one card that gives -3/-0 depressurize, something like that. It was a black card from Edge of Eternities that would kill this because it has 0 power. Hammer of Nazan again. Temur Sabertooth. It is a cat, so that's why it went in this deck. But also, you can pay 1 and a green. You may return another creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, Temur Sabertooth is indestructible in the middle of the turn. I don't know how often we want to do that, but there was... I mean, we can use it to recast Spider-Ham to get more food. Cauldron Complete, because it makes thing big and make indestructible, and haste, and first strike, and trample. Ancient Adamantoise. Mono green is like the only home for this bad boy. 5 and 3 green, it being. It is an 8/20 with Vigilance and Ward 3. Damage isn't removed from this creature during cleanup steps. Also, Temur Sabertooth can return this to our hand if we don't want the 10 treasures it makes. All damage that would be dealt to you and other permanents you control is dealt to this creature instead. When this creature dies, exile it and create 10 tap treasure tokens. So, you know, you use Temur Sabertooth to bounce it back to your hand so you can cast it again. Archetype of Endurance. Your stuff has hexproof. Their stuff cannot be hexproof. Birds of Paradise, because it's a bird. Gilded Goose is a bird. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Cold Steel Heart. Farseek. Herd Heirloom. It adds 1 mana of any color only for creature spells, but also creatures you can a target creature controlled with power 4 or greater gains trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. That's important. Into the North, Moss Diamond, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, 3 visits, Cemetery Prowler. When it enters, exile a card from a graveyard. Temur Sabertooth we can also use to reset this. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card type they share with cards exiled with Cemetery Prowler. Oh, it's all aura attacks too, so yeah. Kazal Lurkwood Pathfinder. It's a Tiefling Druid on the front, and when it enters, search your library for a forest card, which doesn't have to be basic. Put it in the battlefield, tap and shuffle. She costs 4, so that's a lot to ramp with. But when she attacks, you can pay 2, and that transforms her into a bird bear. Oh, she has Vigilance the whole time. So Vigilance, so we add Trample, and then when this creature transforms into the owl bear, other legendary creatures you control get +2/+2 and Trample until end of turn. And then on your upkeep, this turns back. So it also blocks as an owlbear on your opponent's turn. Goreclaw, Terror of Calcisma. Creatures you control with power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast, which we do have a number of, a non-zero number of those. Whenever Terror of Kalsisma attacks, each creature controlled with power 4 or greater gains +1/+1 and trample until end turn. The big get bigger. We got our Solemn Simulacrum. And, oh, we got some other legendary spider people from the Spider-Man set. We have Spider-Man, Brooklyn Visionary. This is specifically Miles Morales. You can tell by the costume. Miles Morales is, in fact, Spider-Man. Peter Parker is also Spider-Man. More than one person can be Spider-Man. If everybody involved, that means Peter Parker and Miles Morales are okay with it. If you are not Peter Parker and you are not Miles Morales, your opinion doesn't matter. So it costs 4 and a green for a 4/3 spider human hero with web slinging, 2 and a green. So you may cast this spell for 2 and a green if you also return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. Sounds like ninjutsu, is not ninjutsu. Ninjutsu returns an attacking creature. This doesn't, so you can't ignore timing restrictions to cast it as an instant. So this is a main phase 2 or returning something that did a thing with its tap ability. When it enters, you search your library for a basic land and put it into the battlefield tapped and shuffle. Neat. Berserk, I've been putting in my decks with green now. Because I'm like, wait a minute, even though it's like a $23 card, but you cast Berserk only before the combat damage step. And it is an instant, so I think... So what you want to do... You basically, you cast it... You have to cast it at... You want to cast it after they attack, if you're using it the way I'm using it, because I use it as a removal spell. So when an opponent's creature attacks, you're like, great, I cast Berserk on it. So the target creature gains trample and plus X plus O until end of turn, where X is its power. At the beginning of the end step, the next end step, destroy that creature if it attacked this turn. So you're like, here, your thing gets a boost, but it goes away. District Mascot, it is a dog that enters with +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever it attacks while saddled, it gets another +1/+1 counter on it. And then you can pay 1 and a green to remove 2 counters from it to destroy an artifact. Nature's Claim, destroy artifact or enchantment. Its controller gains 4 life. Pest Infestation, destroys X artifacts and or enchantments, and you get twice that many pests that are creatures that when they die you gain a life. Collective Resistance, it's 1 and a green to either destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment, or target creature gains hexproof and indestructible at the end of turn. But for each effect beyond the first that you want, you pay an extra green. So if you want all 3, it is 3 green and 1 generic. Or 2 green and 1 generic to destroy an artifact and an enchantment. Steelbane Hydra, it enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. And for 2 and a green, you remove 1 +1/+1 counter to destroy artifact or enchantment. Undergrowth Leopard, sacrifice this creature to destroy artifact or enchantment. Beast Within, trade a permanent for a 3/3 beast. Feline Sovereign, whenever one or more cats you control deal combat damage to a player, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment they control. And then other cats get +1/+1 and have protection from dogs. Rampaging Yaoguai. It is 3 green and X for a 2/2 bear mutant. Oh, I see how it's a bear. I thought it was a dinosaur. Just looking at the picture because I couldn't really tell because it's all mutated. It has Vigilance and Trample, and it enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. And when it enters the battlefield, destroy any number of artifacts and or enchantments with total mana value X or less. And then we have Scrap Shooter. We can allow an opponent to draw a card. It has Reach. And when it enters, if we let someone draw a card, we can destroy an artifact or enchantment some player controls. Froghemoth, when it deals combat damage to a player, you exile that many cards from their graveyard, and for each creature card exiled, it gets a +1/+1 counter. And for each non-creature card, we gain a life. It's a frog that's on the list. Causally Slingers, they're cats. Whenever they or another cat enters the battlefield under our control, we can destroy target artifact or enchantment. Then, of course, we have the Ultima Weapon, which is funny because we have that, but not Argentum Armor. It might have been a memory thing on me. Arasto, the Endless Web. When our opponents cast instants or sorceries, we get spiders. Jedit Ojanin of Efrava. It has Forest Walk, and when it attacks or blocks, we get a Cat Warrior with Forest Walk. That's why we have Yavimaya in there. I could probably put in stuff to grab that specifically. Nactal Ward Pride, that must be blocked by exactly one creature if able. Whenever Nactal Ward Pride attacks, put X tokens into play, tapped and attacking, that are copies of Nactal Ward Pride, where X is the number of creatures defending player controls. Remove those tokens from the game at the end of turn. They're not that big, but they could have Forest Walk. They could have up to +2/+2 and destroy artifacts or enchantments when they deal damage, assuming they also get trample somehow and are bigger than the things that they're blocking. And that was exactly 100, right? Yep. Interesting that I didn't have Argentum Armor in here. Kind of feel like I want to remove Ultima Weapon if Argentum Armor's not in here and put in something else. No, I'm honestly probably out of creatures, if I'm being perfectly honest, that I'd want to put in. So let's dump Ultima Weapon. We're keeping Super State because it's funny, and it can be funny exactly once. Let's go to EDH Rec. Let's see what... Oh, Green Medallion isn't in this deck. You know what? Let's put Green Medallion in this deck. Thank you, EDH Rec, for reminding me that Green Medallion exists. Then let's go here. Let's optimize our printings. We are not optimizing that. We're not optimizing that. Oh, some of these optimizations are neat. So, optimize 22 cards. Ding. That was that one. That was cool. So we have Legend of Green. It's incomplete. I gotta update something. Don't mind me. I'm just typing in a notepad. There we go. Oh, whoops. There's one more thing. There we go with that. Okay, so we have... this one is called Legend of Green, because I wanted to build a deck around Reki, History of Kamigawa. I love having draw in my command zone, even though he's a 1/2. It's 2 and a green for a 1/2 human shaman. Whenever you play a legendary spell, whenever you cast a legendary spell, because I don't think you get it for lands. Let's check the card info. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, yeah, so legendary lands don't count. We draw a card. And I think this is the only printing and it only comes in foil. Nope. It's just the list version only apparently comes in foil. We're going to do this secret layer version. That's the most expensive because I like it. And then we got the Bow of Nylea. Let's just check printings. Oh, let's go this from... I was about to say Hunger Games, even though I know that hasn't happened yet. This is Lara Croft. So, this is the Bow of Nylea, aka, for currently, it's the Grim Whisper. Attacking creatures you control have Death Touch. I like that. It's also a legendary enchantment artifact, so it draws us a card if our commander's out. Then we can pay 1 and a green and tap to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature, or do 2 damage to target creature with flying, or gain 3 life, or put up to 4 target cards from our graveyard to the bottom of our library in any order. Those are all neat things. Then we have the Mare of Galadriel. It is a legendary artifact. Okay, that's funny. For 5 and tap, scry 1, draw a card. That sucks. But it costs 1 less for each legendary creature you control. Okay. Tribute to the World Tree, our first... actually, let's check printings. Oh, yep, I knew it would have this. Although we could also do the version from the cartoon for one of the cartoon movies that came out in like the 70s. We will quote unquote pay $8.50 for that. Tribute to the World Tree, the first non-legendary thing we've had, but it says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card if its power is 3 or greater. Otherwise, it gets 2 +1/+1 counters. I like that. And we'll do this. This is going to be one of the versions where we put in the versions we like, not the versions that are cheap. Heroes Podium, legendary artifact, so we get to draw a card. Each legendary creature we control gains +1/+1 for each other legendary creature we control. Sweet. And then X tap, look at the top of X cards of your library. You may reveal a legendary creature card from among them, put into your hand. The rest go to the bottom of your library in random order. Honestly, I'd probably never do that. The Great Henge, hey, it's legendary. X less to cast, where X is the number of the greatest power among creatures you control. Tap to add double green and gain 2 life. And then whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get a +1/+1 counter and draw a card. Boseiju, legendary land, that part's not important, but as I said in that other deck, you can use it to give them a land with a basic land type and trade for an artifact, enchantment, or non-basic. Castle Garenbrig, it should be legendary, but it's not, because Wizards has this weird thing where they don't want lands to be legendary unless they do. Taking a sip of water. This turns 5 mana into 6 mana, but only to cast creature spells. Ghost Quarter, that's an interesting choice. Sacrifice Ghost Quarter, destroy target land. Its controller may search their library for a basic land, put into the battlefield, then shuffle their library. Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. Adds equal to our devotion. No maximum hand size, which is good when we have our commander that draws cards. 30 Snow Forest, because I didn't want to put in any other type. Strip Mine, oh, I see where I'm going with this. Wasteland, yep. Then we have the Shadow Spear, which I am going to change to Totex Spear. This Heroic Intervention, there's just something about this image that I like the most. But let's just be sure. I mean, we could also be the Doctor saving the other Doctor. I need to watch more Doctor Who, but we're doing... You know what? We're going to switch to this borderless version, because like I said, I really like this art for some reason. Even though John Wayne was probably kind of a jerk, this is like John Wayne saving John Wayne from probably John Wayne. And then we got Lightning Greaves. We're going to change that to these ones. Swiftfoot Boots that we're going to change to these ones. They wouldn't look good on me, but I would wear these ones. I don't just the purple and gold. I would wear just a god awful outfit and look completely ridiculous. Mithril coat, because we do want to protect Chroma's Memorial. It's legendary. We do want to protect our commander. I do like this one because the memorial is a stained glass window. That's neat. The Black Blade Reforge is another legendary. +1/+1 for each land you control. Let's see what else. Oh, we got to go with this classic border. Then a Mox Amber, legendary artifact. Is this a game changer now? No. Interesting that Mox Amber, out of all the Moxen. So it adds 1 mana of any color among legendary creatures and planeswalkers you control. That's why. Let's look at printings. Oh, we got to go with this one. We got ourselves a Soul Ring. It's not legendary, but it pays for our commander really quick. I want to go with the Magicite for this from Final Fantasy VI. Arcane Signet, we are going with this Crystal Ball from Final Fantasy VI as well. Cold Steel Heart waifu, yeah. Emerald Medallion, didn't forget it in this deck. Moss Diamond. Nature's Lore. We're going to go with this because I like the border. Rampant Growth. There's one way down here that I like. It's this one. Sakura Tribe Elder, because we're going to just run all of the things that grab basics out of our deck. I like this cartoon. Sword of the Animist. It is legendary on top of everything else, so that's cool. I don't think it... Oh, that's right. It got this weird reprint. Where it's actually a ring. So we're going to make it this ring, which means we have to pass through the Sakura Tribe Elder again. Now we have the Thought Vessel. We're going to go with this art. 3 visits. We'll visit the Learning Tree. Relic of Legends. It turns all of our legendary creatures into mana dorks. Ooh. Even though it's broken in this one. Ronas's Monivent. Green creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and whenever you cast a creature spell, target creature gets +2/+2 and trample until end of turn. I don't think there were that many versions. Amonkhet Remastered, I don't think was print. So there we go. Wow, Nyx Lotus because it's legendary. Yep. Comes to battlefield tapped, and then it adds equal to Devotion, which is good because we're mono colored, and so we will do this. Oh, Throne of Eldraine, I didn't forget it here. Legendary. Nature's Claim. Search for the Frozen Esper. Beast Within. We're going to go with this bear down here. Arrest of the Endless Web. I don't like this one. We're doing this one. And then we're at Reki, because we did not finish this deck. I feel like I did grab all of the highlights. I don't know when I started this deck, because like I put a lot of decks like on the shelf early for this. So let's go T Legend set EOE or set EOC, because EOS is all the lands. So we got the Donsar Dreadnought. I don't think we're going to do that. We got this reprint of Multani Yavimai's Avatar. Dominion Bracelet. I don't like stealing people's turns. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell, draw a card. Oh yeah, and then your life total becomes half your larger starting life total. Then we have the Eternity Elevator and the Protector of Argoth. Okay, that's that. So then we're gonna go Fiend and Feek. Oh yeah, it has base power and toughness XX, where X is your life total. That's mildly interesting. I'm actually seriously considering it because it's kind of funny, if I'm being honest. We'll come back for that. Bugenhagen, if during our upkeep, if we control a creature with power 7 or greater, draw a card. I honestly don't see that happening. I mean, it's not impossible, but it is not currently possible. I definitely want creatures, and I think that's right where I am. If I go to removal, yeah, I put the absolute minimum in. I put Pest Infestation, search for the Frozen Esper, which is Nature's Claim, and Beast Within. That is funny. Although, I guess technically, Grim Whisper turns all of our attacking creatures into ones with Death Touch. That does remind me of other things that I could put in here that are also legendary. Let's see. Diamond Weapon costs 1 less for each permanent in our graveyard, which is interesting. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to Diamond Weapon, and it has reach. So you know what? We'll put this in. I don't know if it has any other cool arts. They did do that to it. Let's grab that. It can still be removed normally, and can be destroyed with non-combat damage for what it's worth. Let's see, Excalibur 2, you'd have to gain life. Lunatic Pandora. I played Final Fantasy VIII, and I have no idea what this is. You can surveil or destroy non-land permanent, whatever. Master Seymour. Professor Hojo. If we were making tokens, the Quina, Coup Gourmet, assume that's how that's pronounced, don't come at me, gives us frogs. Like in my token maker decks, that's definitely another one that goes in, just because. Oh, actually wait, the Earth Crystal will go in. I don't know how many +1/+1 counters stuff we're doing, but it does make our green spells less to cost. And also for 6, we can distribute some counters. And it's a legendary artifact, so whatever. Ring of the Lucy. No. Oh, the Regalia. I like the Regalia because there's like 2 other ones that says when this vehicle attacks, like you can get lands off your deck, but this guarantees that you get that darned land. Because it reveals cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, and the rest in the bottom of your library in their random order. Boom. And I put it in instantly, but I forgot to look, but I don't. Yep, it's just the foil version. It's funny how it's a rare and it doesn't have alt art, but this uncommon over here got the borderless treatment. The Conformer Shuriken. Whenever this creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. If that creature has a greater power than this creature, you get some +1/+1 counters equal to the difference. That's interesting. We don't need that. I do like Ultima Weapon. I do put in a lot of decks already. Base power 7/7 and can't be blocked by creatures power 2 or less. Equip legendary creature 3. That's a good way to get on that. It is funny that Buster Sword is not legendary. It probably should still make it in. Oh, I meant to do this to type. Yeah, we only have 3 creatures in this deck. And we have 25 spots left. Let's get on that creature deck inputting. Wrecking Ball Arm might come out. I'll come back for that. Oh, really quick. That is the only version of you, right? Yes. But the Earth Crystal has a fancier version. So let's see. What's the next previous set before that? That was TDM and TDC, right? For Tarkir Dragonstorm and Dragonstorm Commander. Yep. We did get both, but there wasn't a whole lot that can go into mono green. Oh, well, look, Multani Yamabai Avatar again. They really wanted to make sure people got it. Surak, Elusive Hunter. Whenever a creature you control or a creature spell you control becomes a target of a spell or ability of one controls, draw a card. That's interesting. And then before that was it DFT? DRC? Was it DRT and DRC? I got one of them correct. Was it DFT then? Yes. So we have the Aether Spark, which honestly is just a flat good card. But if we look at the printings, the cool print is serialized, and that ain't happening. It's kind of funny that I like you know what color that is. It's supposed to be gold, but everybody has a derisive name for it. So it just gets the regular version. And then Nisa Worldsoul, she was in my mono green episode, the original, because I liked the mono green energy thing. Each creature that is attacking one of your opponents gains trample. That's neat. You may put a creature or vehicle card from your hand onto the battlefield. If it's an artifact, it gets 2+1/+1 counters. That's neat. You know what? It's another way to get free stuff, because the other one isn't a legendary. What was... T-Legend, T-Creature... man. Let's see, MV greater than or equal to 10. We're going to start doing it like this. Of course, we're going to ignore those. Of course, I want Galta. There's a lot of cool arts. We're going to go with this one. We're ignoring all of those. The Triad is actually kind of funny if we can get a bunch of stuff, but I don't think we have enough creatures in this deck. Oh, this thing tramples over planeswalkers. I remember that. So now mana value equals 9. We have the diamond weapon. Motion of Life's Web. What does that do? Divinity counter if you play it from your hand. Indestructible as long as that's a divinity counter. Oh, we're grabbing the Tarrasque for the record. But the book Tarrasque, there's no way we want to actually be anywhere near the living Tarrasque. 8. Oh, other Galta. Graz. Kamal. Heart of Krosa. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control gain +3/+3 and gain trample until end of turn. That's neat. Until end of turn, target land you control becomes a 1/1 elemental creature token with vigilance, indestructible, and haste. It's still a land. Didn't get any cool reprints, but I like that. It's an overrun every turn, more or less. Myojin of Towering Might, indestructible counter if it's cast from your hand. Snake Offering. Oh, you have to sacrifice a snake. Or whatever. There's a lot of text here that I'm not going to read, but it has to deal with you have to have a snake type creature. But then you can tap this to untap all forest and green creatures once a turn. Then we have Seki Season's Guide. It enters play with 8+1/+1 counters, but you remove counters for it when it takes damage. And then you make spirits. And then if you sacrifice 8 spirits, it can return from the graveyard to the battlefield. And then this is the Evil Vorinclex. That I would consider Master Land Denial myself. Oh, good old Gnawbone. This $70 printing. She is very majestic. Oh, this doubles the power and toughness of all of our stuff until end of turn. We'll just get the shadow of it. What are we at, by the way? We're at 81. So we're going to probably still have a lot of room by the time I'm done. Gargos, Vicious Watcher. It fights stuff when your stuff gets targeted. Oh, there's our good old friend Jedit. Jugan, the Rising Star. If it dies, you distribute its power in the form of +1/+1 counters. It's not that exactly, but like its base, you know, printed power. Oh, the less power version of Kamal that that doesn't automatically boost your stuff. Kodama the East Tree. That's the one that ran. No. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, if it wasn't put in the battle from this power ability, you can put a permanent with equal or lesser converted mana cost from your hand onto the battlefield. That's neat, but we want to cast. Kolga fights a thing on its enterer when it enters, and you can also return a human to your hand to give this thing indestructible until end of turn. And when it attacks, it can destroy an artifact or enchantment. That's worth it. Ooh. This $13 Secret Lair version is neat. Only comes in foil, apparently. Nemata Grove Guardian. Nope. Oh, there's Multani again. We've seen him a lot. Multani here. Old One-Eye, a Tyrannid. We're not grabbing any Tyrannids. Which is funny, because I've put Necrons in decks now. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, add that much green until end of turn you don't lose it. You know what? Sure. Oh, we're going with the original printing. The original ridiculous printing. She is a reptile. Other snakes. You may play forests from your graveyard. There's Surak and Goreclock again. Strong, the brutish thespian. Slurk, the all-ingesting. The less evil Vorinclex. Progenitor Ooze. Do we want Soul of the Wild? What I like about her is that she's tech for very specific white cards. The ones that say destroy all non-land permanents, because then it turns all your creatures into land permanents. Emissary Green. Whenever Emissary Green attacks, starting with you, yeah, whatever. Brolios of Ferris Band. When it's equal to the number of lands. Draw a card, play extra land. The Gift Giver. Ronas, Green Sleeves. Oh, the All Devouring. Karn, the Legacy Reforged. Thrun, Breaker of Silence. The World Tyrant. Ultima again. The Middle Evil Vorinclex, because he grabs lands, and he's the Middle Evil because you have to remember that he has a backside. So now we go down to mana value 4 legends. Oh, this makes our commander indestructible on our turn. Oh, her last name's Gardner. That confuses me so much. Oh, Glissa Sunseeker, she's just funny. Destroy target artifact if it's converted mana. If its mana value is equal to the amount of mana in your mana pool. So basically, you have to tap for a bunch of mana. Use this to destroy the artifact, then you can cast your spell. So weird. The Rescue Beastie lets us put stuff into play for free if it's tapped. Oh, Questing Beast, that's a good legend. Making our creature spells one cheaper is nice. Giving our creatures trample is also nice. Renata called to the hunt. Gives our other creatures additional +1/+1 counters. Not sure I actually care about that. This is the thing I was thinking about. Other tapped creatures we control have Death Touch. Other untapped creatures we control have Hexproof. Toski Bearer's Secrets, of course. Always good to draw more cards. Now, see, now I'm paranoid on 5. That I didn't. Okay, that I did go. Okay, I did go all the way on 5. Okay. So that was 4, right? Yep. Now we're on 3. I press 9. Oh, Arwen, Weaver of Hope. Zuza lost with Seeking. Players can only cast spells during their own turn. I'm not exactly playing a whole lot of instants, so that might actually be good for me. Because if I look, I have 3 instants in my entire deck. What are we at? We are also at 89. And we're over 2 hours, but that's fine. We still got one more deck after this. Oh, tap 2 creatures to put a card from our hand or the top of our library. Oh, if it's a creature, it goes into the battlefield. Yep. Wait, it's mildly more expensive because we got to tap a bunch of stuff, but we can get free creatures out. That's what it's there for. Oh, and then Huato, Honored Physician, puts a creature card from our graveyard on top of our library. It is as a sorcery, but you know, since we know when we're drawing cards, that's fine. Stupid Loop gets us free stuff. Omnath keeps green mana in our mana pool. I'm actually remembering other cards I want to put in here. Oh, whenever we draw our second card, we get a cat. Sure, why not? And then finally, mana value 1. Oh yeah, we have that thing. Okay, so what are we at? We are at 94. I remembered Berserk. Berserk. We're at 22 creatures at least. So now we're going to go minus T creature. And we'll just do all mana values because this can't be nearly as many. It's only 207. And also minus T land. Get us down to 175. So we have Acolyte of Bahamut that does dragon spells. Assassins attacking energy stuff. This is still very funny. Agatha's Soul Cauldron, we're not doing that. That does something. That creates spirits. This doubles the card draw of the cards that we draw after the one that we draw for turn. Do we have Reliquary Tower? Yeah, we have Reliquary Tower and Thought Vessel. I should look for other ways to increase our maximum hand size after I'm done with this. Oh, Bitterthorn, duh. Spells we control can't be countered, and then at the beginning of our end step, discover 5. Sure, why not? You know, let's dream big. Let's Dawnsire. And Excalibur, because we have so many historic permanents. Oh, Hammer of Nazahan is legendary. Look at that. Helm of the Host. Cauldron Complete. Raised by Giants is funny. What are we at, by the way? Oh, we are at 103, so we've actually gone over. Nice. What's funny, that also means I kind of don't want her. I know she makes me creatures, but I don't want to go below 21. So we got 2 more to get rid of. We'll finish looking through this first. Oh, Super State. Make that shaman go Super Saiyan. He gets really fired up when he tells the story. Oh, the Iron Crag. I know I'm supposed to be taking stuff out, but I'm going to look for non-legendary stuff to take out. Like, if there's something in here that's legendary, we can take out a non-legendary equivalent. I don't care. Super State's funny. So let's turn this into a grid. So let's take out the Moss Diamond. How many things do we need to take out? 3 more. That's hand size. Might actually take out the Relic of Legends, because itself is not legendary. And I don't feel like we have the creatures for Relic of Legends. So we're going to take out that. Now we just need to take out 2 more. What's funny is that I just realized that I have Sakura Tribe Elder, but I don't have any of the other ramp pieces. This is a rampless green deck, or largely rampless green deck. That's mildly, or at least we have unconventional ramp. We're not using any of the land ramp. That is funny. What do we say? 2 more? This might be the end of Soul Ring and Arcane Signet. Though Sakura Tribe Elder, even though it's a creature I said I didn't want to take out. We are going to take out Sakura Tribe Elder. Tribute to the World Tree itself isn't legendary. I'm going to get rid of Heroic Intervention and put something else back in. I'm also going to take out my land destruction and put in 3 different lands. Let that be somebody else's problem. Oh, I do. I have Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, 3 visits, but I don't have Into the North, even though I put on all these snow lands. Okay, so let's get my lands back in. Go back to stacks. How many lands do I have? 5, 6, or 7, and then into the north. There we go. The 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th. There we go. Even though that into the north could have just been that Sakura Tribe Elder, I realize. Shut up. Anyway, go here, go to land base, go here. Rogue's Passage, I understand. Mossfort Bridge has Hideaway. We'll throw in Yamavai, Cradle of Growth, Myriad Landscape. Honestly, we only need to have like 3 creatures for this to be a buff. Right? Because we pay 2. Yeah, so we'll do that. So that's the Legend of Green. There's a lot of cards I didn't put my preferred version in, but I can do that at another time. Because we're at 214 and we have 1 more deck to look at. I like the Legend of Green. It's all these green legendary creatures. It's not 100% legendary permanents. So I think we still have... Oh, no, we have a lot of stuff under protection that's not legendary as well. But, getting Reki down early. What I really want is Reki on turn 4 because I have Lightning Greaves or Swiftfoot Boots to keep him mostly protected as long as there's not a board wipe. Anyway, done with this one. Oh, this is another one that still needs 30 cards. This is Ramp is Not Enough because it's starring that Eladamri that allows us to... We have to tap him, a green mana source, and 2 more untapped creatures we control to reveal a card from our hand or the top card of our library. If it's a creature card, it goes into the battlefield. Activate only during our turn. So let's see what else is in here. Oh wow, we only have... Oh. This was apparently also built at a time where I felt that I needed to have Ghost Quarter, Wasteland, and Strip Mine in my decks. So let's go over here, go over to the land base. I don't know if we need Reliquary Tower in this one, but we're going to go Myriad Landscape, and this thing. And then we still need 2 more. We'll throw in Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, because it turns everything into a forest, just in case. And Reliquary Tower doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt nobody. Oh, I added an extra... No, I did not add an extra land. Okay, something... Did something add itself? Because it was only at 70 a second ago. Go to deck history, go to add remove cards. Remove strip land, Oh, apparently, about 5 months ago I removed the Shire, Wear Array, and Primal Rage. Oh, I accidentally added the wrong loot. That happens sometimes. I feel like something I removed added itself while I was messing around with stuff. Let's look at our removal. Nature's Claim, Pest Infestation. Oh, Collective Resistance is a card that I didn't put in those other ones that I put in now. We're not going to worry this much about other people's artifacts or enchantments. We're just going to worry exactly this much about stuff. So let's look at what's in the deck already. So we got this guy. I said what he did. Sensei's Divining Top, that we can organize the top 3 cards of our deck. Scroll Rack, we can trade cards in our hand for cards on top of our deck and, stack our deck that way. Cheat. Augur of Autumn, so we can look at the top card at any time, play lands, and then if we have 3 creatures with different powers, we can cast creatures from there. Vizier, look at the top card at any time, cast creature spells from the top. Spend mana of any type on creature spells, that's nice. Then we got Boseiju, Castle Garenbrig, Evendo, this forest, that forest, Myriad Landscape, Nykthos, Reliquary Tower, Snow-Covered Forests as well. Only 10 of them. Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, Lightning Greaves, Swiftfoot Boots, Mithril Coat, Legolas's Quick Reflexes. It has split second to untap a creature Until end of turn, it gains hexproof for each, and whenever this creature becomes tapped, it deals damage equal to its power to up to one target creature. It's a nice piece of protection that has a bunch of other stuff. Then also a bite down, because this deck apparently I wanted to make sure that my I had some bite spells to yep, there's Into the North, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, 3 visits. Corsair of Crewfix, play lands from the top, but also has this landfall effect. That is not ramp. Hold on. I see I gave Punch Bite its own section. The thing that Corsair of Crewfix isn't ramp because it doesn't let us play additional lands. It just gives us a new place to cast lands from. This plays additional lands, but also lets us put a creature into play. Kona lets us put a creature into play as long as it's tapped, which we can use our commander to tap him, so that's cool. Then Oracle of Moldiah, additional lands, top card of library field, lands from the top of your library. Puts creatures from our discard pile on top of our library. Oh, we want Berserk. For the removal section, of course. Sereth, the Viper Sting, gives us Death Touch or Hexproof, depending on if we're untapped or tapped. Elvish Archdruid had elves you control have when this creature becomes tapped during your turn. Untap and put a +1/+1 counter on it. This ability only triggers once each turn. That's in the parentheses, so each elf does that, and our commander's an elf, so that's why that happens. Mage Right Stone, untap target creature that has an activated ability with tap in its cost. That's in here because it's incredibly efficient. 2 to bring down and 1 to use. And then, oh, that's everything that's in here. So now we want, I guess since we're at 69. This deck is going to make me think that I have gone crazy. Oh, it's because I took out these 3 cards. And then added that card. So now we want to have, honestly, more ramp. Because we have 7 pieces of ramp. 3 of it costs a lot. So, whoops, let's go. It's Emerald. Emerald Medallion. Mossy D for the Moss Diamond. Arc Sig. Soul Ring, because you can pry that from my cold dead hands. And let's see. What? Oh, I know. Let's see. We don't want any of the other. Actually, no. We'll do Cold Steel Heart. We'll spell it correctly. But then we'll also go MV equals 1 O add. So we'll grab the Birds of Paradise, the Boreal Druid, the Delighted Halfling, the Elvish Mystic, the Findlehorn Elves, not the Goose, the Llanowar Elves, That increases our ramp, but also, like, when we don't need these things for mana, there are also small things that we don't care about that can we can use with our commander. Which honestly means I don't think I need the Moss Diamond or the Cold Steel Heart because they come into play tapped anyway. We could also add the Arbor Elf because it untaps forests, and we have 30 of those. Arbor. Arbor Elf. See, untaps forest. So now we are at 79. We want some big time creatures now, though. We want. So if we go and we go by type, we go by creatures, we have 16, but they're all like reasonably costed creatures that do stuff. Now with our last 21 slots, we can probably get a bit more greedy. Though there's like other stuff in the 4 spot that we want, like there's actually 2 still reasonable creatures. Like there's the there's Questing Beast, that ridiculous dictionary of stuff that's still a 4/4 for 4. But because it's mythic rare, they were like, this can have all of this. And then Elder Gargara, that's a 5 mana thing that I just really like because it has Vigilance, Reach, and Tanful. When it attacks or blocks, you either get a beast, 3 life, or a card. And now we have 19. There is O, creature, O, hand, O, battlefield. No, no, no. No, no. None of these. Elvish Piper is one of them. You know, because there was 2 more put green stuff into play for free. There it is. Oh, whenever this spaceship attacks, you can put a creature from your hand onto the battlefield. That's neat. We'll put that in here. The Summoner's Grimoire is neat. If the thing we bring in is a saga or an enchantment creature, it comes in tapping and attacking. That probably won't ever matter, but I don't care. It's cheating in stuff. There we go. That's all of that. So now we go T creature. You've seen me do this before, but they don't have to be legendary now. Now it's MV greater than or equal to 10, because that's just where we start out. No, no, because we have to cast it. Yes and yes, because why not? Earthquake Dragon has flying and trample. That's a good thing to bring out for free. Oh, this old Galta that can come out for free anyway sometimes. This big old Tyrannid. The Impervious Gray... Oh, yeah. It's 16 indestructible. Why not? Lumbering Megasloth. Enters tapped. Nyxborn Behemoth. It has trample. Primeval Protector. That's neat. World Spine Worm. Oh, when it dies, you get 3 5/5s. And then it goes back into your library. If it, as long, I mean, you have to exile this thing. That's beautiful. That has trample. Sure, why not? This puts +1/+1 counters on all of our other stuff, so why not? Oh, this thing gives us an overrun effect. Equals 9. Oh, this weird thing that when it enters the battlefield, it fights. And then when it's dealt damage, it can fight some more. So it can fight until it's dead. Oh, Diamond Weapon can come back out. The Tarask is fun. Go down to 8. What are we at? We're at 97. Good. Ancient Adamantoise. Archetype of Endurance. Cityscape Leveler needs to be tapped. Or cast, I should say. We're specifically avoiding Crater Hoof because there's just other more fun stuff. This thing's funny because it costs green less to cast for each green creature you control. But it's not super interesting. So we're at 34 creatures. This would put us at 35 creatures. Also explains why I was willing to have all of these bite/punch effects. Because I know I'd be cheating in some unreasonable garbage. I think I know what I want the last one to be, but I'm going to sit on an EDH rack to see what they think. Beast Whisper, but that's only for casting. When this enters, you get a whole bunch of other free stuff. I can understand that. What else do we got in here? Nyxbloom Ancient to give us triple mana. Cheating that in early would reduce the amount of cheating that we need to do. Giving all of our stuff Death Touch. And would allow us to draw cards. Good old Sakura Tri-Builder for more ramp. Old Gnawbone is actually might replace one of those ones that we put in because it was just big and stupid. Giving all of our stuff, our attacking stuff, Death Touch, and the ability to draw cards. Doubles the power and toughness of all of our stuff. Okay, so let's go to the top here. So that's flying and trample, that's fine. Yeah, no, we don't need that. That dies into more creatures. I think that's funny. Primeval Protector can go away. That is an indestructible, but it doesn't have trample by itself. There we go. Oh, and that put us at, yeah, so we're at 35 creatures exactly. Let's do this for this deck. And then find my basic lands, because I don't want them to change. Also going to double checking to make sure that my snowlands weren't going to change, because sometimes my favorite ones are the least expensive, sometimes they aren't. So we can close that now, and that was all of these in a special extra long episode because I didn't know it would take that long. Come on. If I do this, will they have been moved? Some of them will have been moved. Weird. Anyway, you're going to watch me put these into this darned thing. That is weird as heck. We'll just do them one at a time then, if you're going to be like that. Well, and if you ever want to pause through it, you can see everything. But next week looks like it's going to be a whole lot of Azorius then again. See you then.